Greetings everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Captain Ryan. Today's video is going to be a key review here in World of Warships. Now, first things first, as the battle gets started, it's the trap map. It's domination match mode, the only match mode for this map. Thank God. And it is a tier 8 maximum battle. Now the key, Tier 8 Premium Japanese Battleship, has recently been released, and there's some question about whether or not it's good or bad. Hopefully, this review will either give you the motivation to go get one, or the information to stay the hell away from it. Now the key at Tier 8 is effectively an Amagi. That's it. She's got the same guns as the Amagi, she's got the same basic layout and same hull as the Amagi. However, she sits a little bit higher in the water, and she's got a nice flat broadside to shoot at, as you can see there on the screen. Which means if you turn broadside in this ship, you are going to get punished. It took me several battles, probably too many than I wanted to admit, to figure that out. And like I said, it sits a little bit higher in the water, and because of the nature of that broadside, you really do get punished, more so than I think you would in the Amagi. However, unlike the Amagi, this ship has torpedo tubes. But unlike the Mutsu at Tier 6, these torpedo tubes actually have arcs of fire, and they are incredibly good arcs of fire. As they're located on the stern of the ship there, you can see the little cutouts for them. You get 3 of them on each side. They do about 14,000 damage. They go 63 knots, so they're relatively quick, and they're 6-kilometer range. So effectively, the key is a Tier 8 Japanese version of the Scharnhorst, except she gets much bigger and much more effective guns. Now the range on the guns is a little much to be desired. However, with that scout spotter up, boy, this ship will have a 23.3 kilometer range. Now, enemy destroyer pops up, takes a big beating there. I only managed to do a little bit of damage to him, but I did get the first blood on him. Kind of happy about that. Now I'm putting that rudder shift to work. Gonna torpedo beats it. Remember, just like the Amagi, the key is going to be a long ship, so you gotta watch out for that. But the rudder shift time with that rudder shift module especially really does help this ship. It's pretty maneuverable, just like the Scharnhorst in that respect. It's also relatively fast. Just like the Amagi, it's going to get up over 28 knots. Not sure if I have the speed flag, the Delta flag on it, or not. But with that speed flag, you definitely push up around 30 or 31 knots, so pretty much as quick as the Scharnhorst. Unlike the Scharnhorst, though, you're not going to have that turtleback armor that makes you so tanky. So you can't close in and use those torpedoes as effectively as you'd like. However, you have those 16-inch guns, and boy, do those 16-inch guns really put a hurt on anything that is broadside on. Broadside on Gneisenau out here. Let's see if I can put the hurt on him. Shots go out. No citadels, but a pretty good amount of damage done there. And now I'm just going to go ahead and sit in the smoke screen laid down by the friendly destroyer. This is wonderful. Enemy team has managed to capture the B cap point. My team's managed to capture the A cap point, but as you can see, the B cap point is being contested, which means my team's the only one making any points right now, and because the enemy team has already lost one of their 2 destroyers, a very limited number of destroyers, it means that they are down on points, and they now no longer have a destroyer advantage of any kind. Early on, that's going to play a factor into the late game. Get shots out there at a Miyoko, but unfortunately I misjudged it. I thought he was going to back up. Turns out he decided to go forward instead. So those shots, just like in an Amagi, managed to miss. Looking at the battle situation, the enemy team really pushing B in force. Now, I've got a Mogami here. This is going to be a little bit of a mistake on my part, a little bit of misjudgment. I'm not entirely sure where this Mogami's going. I'm thinking he's going to beach himself and run aground, but it doesn't look like he's going to. And just as I line up just forward there as he slows down, he beaches himself. So those shots are all going to miss, and that was a perfect broadside shot. Really disappointed by that. Creeping slowly out of the smoke screen here. Now, I'm running my key with effectively a captain that was set up for my Mogami. So I actually have quicker torpedo reload, 81-second torpedo reload on this ship. I have concealment expert as well, and I have the turret rotation buff, which I think all of these actually really do a very, very good job and are very valuable in this ship. The torpedoes, maybe not as much, but they have come in handy. I've had games where having that quicker reload has really actually played an important factor. Saved my butt long enough to cement some more kills. The additional thing to think about with this ship is if you buy the upgraded, the fully loaded or ultimate package, you also get the mission, which is play one game at the key, for that custom camo. Now, I don't have that camo on right at this particular moment, but the camo actually changes the superstructure. The top of the superstructure, it adds these large sections that kind of looks like the radar mast on the Yamato. But it doesn't move, it's just static. And of course, that camo, that special camo that you see, is that gray and golden diamond pattern. It's actually kind of cool to look at, but it provides a very unique and very specific bonus that makes this ship incredibly good as a premium warship. Specifically, it reduces your post-battle servicing costs by 50%. Combine that with Tisbet flesh wound flags, the flags you get from that award, the flags that can be picked up very easily in loot crates, and you've got a 60% reduction. You basically play this ship for free, which means everything you earn in-game will effectively go into padding your bank account. And I know for some people, that's going to be an important factor in deciding whether or not to pick this ship up. Additionally, because it has torpedoes, because it has a reasonable concealment, I mean with Concealment Expert, with the concealment module, this ship's concealment will be 13.3 kilometers. When you consider its base concealment is 17, and the fact that it's got a 19 plus kilometer gun range, the 13 kilometers really does help quite a bit to drop off detectability, play that long range sniper, and then just slowly creep forward into a position where you can get behind cover and then surprise people with those torpedoes. Speaking of torpedoes, I haven't used mine yet in this game, but I'm looking at targets that I can possibly get up there. I'm starting to move closer. I've managed to work my way around the flank, but I can't go ahead and push in on these battleships and cruisers that are currently at the B cap point, because I still have a battleship that's in front of me, so I have to keep maintaining an angle to him. The enemy team has managed to capture the C cap point. They still haven't been able to fully secure the B cap point as it's still being contested. They have lost a couple of more ships to my team's one ship at this point, so they are still down on points, and my team is still gaining them. However, the enemy team is at the very least gaining points, so they're not at risk of losing outright for losing too many ships. The Key is also a very good ship to retrain for your Japanese captains, specifically your Japanese battleship captains, because, well, it's a Japanese battleship at tier 8, and Japanese cruiser captains. The Atago is a good ship for retraining purposes, and obviously a good ship for money making. People really seem to like it, but it's not as forgiving as a battleship, primarily because the guns, well, they're only 8-inch guns. She's a cruiser, which means she's a lot squishier. Well, she does get heals. They're not as good as the battleship heals. So, if you're looking for something that can be reasonably good, that can do reasonably well, that's a little more forgiving than a cruiser, the Key is going to be for you. Now, I'm going ahead, and I'm continuing to push up. I'm keeping my bow towards this battleship in a concerted effort to avoid pretty much being broadside onto him. Again, learn that lesson the hard way, that broadside Key is easy to citadel. You could almost say it's the key to my citadel, is being broadside. Now I'm going to go ahead and get torpedoes out here. He's well within torpedo range. It is a Bismarck, so I'm not worried about him having torpedoes here. I get shots off there, put some rounds into him. Again, no citadels here on him. He's a battleship with turtleback armor. Really hard to citadel those. But look, those torpedoes right on the mark, heading right at him. He puts out the fires on his deck just in time to meet all 3 of my torpedoes to finish him off. I will say that the secondaries on this ship are actually reasonably decent. Now, she gets less, significantly less, 150 millimeter or 140 millimeter secondaries along the side of her hull in comparison to the Amagi, which has a lot of them. But those 140 millimeter guns fire armor piercing and not high explosive. So having less of those isn't necessarily a bad thing. What she does get is she gets 4 100 millimeter turrets, dual 100 millimeter gun turrets per side. So she's got 8 total, and those are dual purpose 100 millimeter guns. So they actually add a substantial amount to your anti-aircraft on this ship. And the anti-aircraft, the base rating on this ship, I believe is something like 70 on a tier 8 Japanese battleship. That's actually really good. It's actually fun to watch carrier players send their planes over to me to meet their sticky and unfortunate ends. Combine that with basics of firing training and advanced firing training, and you can actually increase the base anti-aircraft rating on this ship to just over 80. And that is a ridiculous amount for a Japanese battleship. So this ship is actually a reasonable anti-aircraft platform. So if you've got those, you know, campaign missions, shoot down X number of planes, this ship could actually be quite useful for it. Because it's a Japanese battleship, carrier players don't fully realize it's actually got really good AA. Now I'm desperately trying and desperately torn between killing this Warspite and killing that Miyoko back over there. I've already wasted my torpedoes, which is a little disappointing. I was trying to finish off that Miyoko, which is still causing me problems there, as you can see. And he's incredibly low health. Finish off the Warspite. Now I've got a Cleveland who's shooting at me. I'm on fire in multiple locations here. Don't have my damage control, but get shots out there. Actually managed to over-penetrate that. That's, again, part of the issue with the 16-inch guns. If it was the Scharnhorst, they would have been regular penetrations. Still don't have the torpedoes up there. Managed to finish off that cruiser through, surprisingly enough, secondary battery fire. Like I said, the secondary batteries on the ship are not bad. Still burning down, not long for this world. Managed to put the fire out just in time. Trying to get my guns around, trying to finish this guy off. I'm on 4 kills. It would be nice to get a Kraken unleashed. Come on, get up there. Remember, there was that New Orleans over there. Turned broadside onto him. He puts armor piercing into me and finishes me off. Still though, 4 kills with a First Blood, with a Confederate, with a high caliber, and a close quarters. Didn't quite get my Kraken unleashed by finishing off that Miyoko, and look how low health he is. I really only needed to hit him once. That's kind of disappointing, but Battleship RNG, what can you do? Not much, unfortunately, in this particular case. And that Miyoko finally gets taken out, so now it's just the New Orleans left, and he's behind an island, leaving my team wide open to grab both the B and C cap points at their discretion. So there you have it, folks. My game in the key. The game's not quite over, but it's obviously going to be a win, so I'm just going to spend the rest of the time talking about how much I like this ship. I actually really do like this ship. I've had a couple of bad games in it, but bad for me is not bad by any measurable standard. And when I say bad, I mean I've had games where I've only had 1 kill and maybe done 40 or 50,000 damage. But I think looking at it right now, after 11 games played, I'm currently running a 77% win rate, a just shy of a 2-to-1 KD, something I need to work on there with this ship. But I'm running an average of 101,000 damage in this ship. I've had games where I've managed to put up over 200,000 damage in this ship. Granted, that particular game was a loss thanks to a couple of, players that really didn't seem like they helped all that much, including a bot. But The ship is, win or lose, still kind of fun to play and really full of surprises. Can definitely put out those hardcore hits when it needs to because of those 16-inch guns. And if you let the enemy get close enough, or if the enemy lets you get close enough, you can have some surprise fun by, oh yeah, remember, I got these 6-kilometer torpedoes, sucker. 3 on each side, and it's really going to be a problem for you. And I've managed to finish off a number of ships that way with those torpedoes. Now, this New Orleans here at the end of the game, he's not long for this world. Look at that. He's taking a big hit there from the Scharnhorst. Scharnhorst doesn't quite get the kill. I feel bad for him, but the Colorado, who was, for the most part, firing high explosive into him, actually does manage to do it. Now, 177,000 damage again. Confederate, close quarters, first blood, high caliber. No Kraken Unleashed, disappointed, but 1.19 million credits earned. That's partly due to completing, I think, one of the mission tasks at the time. But that mission task was only for doubling up, so basically I earned 600,000 credits in that game. Top of the team for XP earned there. Just over 2,100 base XP in this game. You could really say that it was the key to victory. Yes, puns, I've got them. Anyway, that's it for today's video and review, folks. If you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe and follow button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me in this channel, as well as gain some additional perks, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can do so by sending it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play various games live, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I will see you next time. Just before I sign off here, we'll take a look at the post-battle results with that credit earn. Again, that was a mission reward. It was like 100% your credit earned. So 600,000 base credits earned. That's about what you can expect in this game with this premium. But add flags, do other things, get more credits. This is Captain Rye, signing off.